Askreddit asks, what's the stupidest thing you've seen a grown-ass adult get angry over?
One time a lady asked if she could skip me in line and I said, sorry but I'm on lunch and need to get back. She turned to the person behind her and started saying, look at this fucking kid. Won't let me cut him in line because he thinks he's more important than I am. Right. I'm sure you have places to be lady.
At the gym, and this guy was rotating between 3 machines. 2 of them were side by side and the third was a good 30 feet across the room. A single cycle took at least 20 minutes. I was eyeing one of his machines whilst I squatted. Finally I had nothing else to use, so I asked him if he was done. He looked up from his book, Tom Clancy, and said, I'm using that. Okay, wait your turn. Before I can even think to respond, a huge dude asks him if he could work in. The guy immediately smiles and goes, oh sure thing my dude, and the big guy gestures for me to use the machine I asked for and left. Dude looked so pissed. I kept thinking he would lean over and hit me with his book.
What a prime situation to fart.
Did this to a drunk creep in an elevator that was making a young woman uncomfortable. Just crop dusted the shit out of him.
So what you're saying is you farted in an elevator, leaving an uncomfortable woman with a creepy man and your fart.
There were casualties. Yes.
A roommate once cursed me out because I asked him to contribute to the house's petty cash fund, which would be used to purchase dish soap and toilet paper. You know, $2 a month for those things we all use. Long story short, this roommate opted out of contributing to the fund. He was asked by our other roommates and me to make his own arrangements. A few months later, our pipes clog, and we have to call a plumber. We were in a service corps and thankfully didn't foot the bill. Turns out this roommate chose to tear pages out of a book to wipe himself. And that contributed to the clog. ETA. The book was a gift from our service corps program. We each received it when we moved into the house. It was about community organizing and redlining in Chicago. ETA 2. We found out about his DIY toilet paper because he came home. Heard a plumber was present due to clogged pipes. And said, it's probably because I've been using pages from that book we were given to wipe myself. Then he told our other roommate, who looked horrified, not to start crying about this. ETA 3. While in some cases ETA does stand for estimated time of arrival, it can also stand for edited to add. Single quote.
Expired coupons that weren't redeemable because we no longer had the product.
Sure you had the product. You were just hiding it in the back.
Full respect to retail workers. Glad I got out.
An old boss of mine couldn't open his Kit Kat wrapper and so he headbutted a wall in anger. This was a large opposite. Thanks for the gold, kind stranger. PPL is saying there is more to this. There is. The guy had real rage issues. One time I witnessed him screaming down the phone at someone because it was a wrong number. A wrong number he had actually called. I haven't seen him in 7 years, but last year he made the local paper because he'd be caught by Dark Justice, UK pedo hunters trying to solicit sex off a 14-year-old girl.
Most huge dudes at the gym are awesome like that in my experience.
Scrawny me lifted in a meathead gym in college. I remember one day where I squatted 165 for the first time and then turned to see someone barbell curling literally the exact same weight I was using. Anyhow, those dudes never judged, never laughed at me, or gave me any crap. They helped spot me and were humble when anyone complimented them.
Takes a lot of discipline to get that big. The journey tends to humble people.
The SWOL remember the small. I like that.
Brother, you need to come visit at our Swoley Acceptance where such inspiring words are welcome.
I needed this in my life. Wayman.
Not having a specific toy, Hatchimals, in stock at the store I work at on Christmas Eve in 2017. We got those fuckers in almost every day. And they sold out within a couple of hours of being opened without fail. This bitch was having a full-on hissy fit because we ruined her daughter's Christmas. No, Tracy, you ruined her Christmas. It's not our fault we don't have any in stock at 5:30 10:30 p.m. the day before Christmas, you fucking space cadet.
Ugh, this is the fucking worst. Do people really have this little awareness of the world? I was about to snap this holiday season at the number of people who were shocked we didn't have certain things in stock on Christmas Eve. I answer 911 calls. One day we had a fatal car crash happen, and had to reroute traffic from the main road down a side road. Then back up to the main road. A woman who lives on the side road called 911 asking why there was commercial traffic passing through her residentially zoned home. I explained there was a serious car accident on the main route, and that as soon as that was resolved, the detour would be removed. She continued to complain, very angrily, that the trucks going by her house were kicking up dust and pebbles into her driveway, and demanded we send someone to clean it for her. I said no, we don't do that. She demanded to speak to a supervisor. I got all her information. Then I told her he'd be along to speak to her in person after he was finished informing the family of the person who died in the car accident that the family member was dead. Then I hung up the phone. When the sergeant got there, she refused to come to the door and refused to answer the phone when we called her back. Edit. Thanks for the gold and the kudos and well wishes. Did not expect this to blow up the way it did.
A longtime parishioner made a scene before the morning service when she spotted a family sitting in her pew. As I noted some time ago, she insisted that the family move or that she'd leave the church and take her substantial pledge with her. To their credit, the family, newcomers to the church, didn't move and the woman left in a huff. Much like a child having a tantrum.
Boo. Wow. Substantial pledge. That is some literal holier-than-thou bullshit.
My dad is an angry dude. He's been to court, ordered anger management a few times. Has been kicked out of places a lot of times. So there are way too many instances to list. I'll tell a couple though. Once we were out to eat. Our waitress looked at my baby sister and made a comment about how cute she is. Dad flips the fuck out. Started screaming about how he didn't say she could look at his baby. We were asked to leave. Another one that sticks out is on Christmas. My parents are divorced and the custody order said we had to go back to my mom's house at a certain time. That time rolled around. We reminded our dad and he starts yelling about how we're dumb cunts. Fun times growing up.
Sure, you had the product. You were just hiding it in the back. Ah yes, the fabled back room, to Narnia or some shit. Like how big did they think the back room is? Yes lady, we keep all of our merchandise in the back so we won't accidentally sell it.
My grown-ass cousin got angry at her 5-year-old niece for liking unicorns because she, adult cousin, liked them first.
Shouldn't that be something to bond over? Some fucking people.
My father-in-law loses his shit when he can't sit in the front seat. Note: no. He's not super tall, 5 feet 10 inches-ish, and I don't think motion sickness has ever been an issue.
Does he let relatives that are older than himself sit in the front seat?
My grandfather loves to sit in the back seat. Because it gives him an excuse to nap and not be a part of the conversation. It's a win-win. Because he's super racist and we don't want to listen to him either.
I worked at a bookstore in high school and every winter we have a book drive and asked customers if they'd like to donate a children's book when they are checking out. Usually people say, no. Sorry, but one guy would not stop going on and on about how if he wanted to buy a book, he'd just keep it, not donate it. So I replied, okay. You don't have to donate, and proceeded to move on in the process and tell him his total. And he just kept circling back to how ridiculous it was that I asked him to donate a $4 book to kids and schools who couldn't afford them. Up until the moment he left. He's the only person I ever thought was an asshole for not donating. Edit. Just so y'all know, he wouldn't be donating money. He'd be buying a book which I put in a bin and is sent to schools and shelters.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to support the channel, and above all, have an excellent day you incredible people.